Hey, warriors. So some of us think that some of you need to hear our story so you understand, you know, exactly where we came from, um, and what led up to our awakening. So I've written it down, and I'm just gonna read it straight from this. Before I get deeper into my story, the healing, the awakening, and the spiritual part, I want to start right at the beginning because none of us woke up overnight. None of us land in our awakening by accident. We came from something, and this is the beginning of what I came from. I was born into a family where safety wasn't guaranteed. I grew up in a line of people who carried a lot of unhealed darkness. There were adults in my family's history who crossed every boundary a child should be protected from, generations of it. Cycles that were never broken, and instead of protecting the new generation, instead of protecting children, the older generation allowed those same patterns and those same people back into our lives. That was the world I was born into. Both of my parents left when I was a baby. My mom left when I was 6 months old. My father left to another state to avoid consequences he didn't want to face. That meant my grandmother raised me and my sister, and I wish I could say that made things safer, but it didn't, because she allowed someone into the home who she already knew had harmed children before. Everyone knew. It was part of the family history, a horrible history, and yet he was still welcomed in. The cycle repeated itself. My sister was harmed first. She kept quiet because that's what kids, from these families learn to do. Then it happened to me, and when I tried to tell the adult in the house, the one person who could have protected me, she said nothing. No reaction, no outrage, nothing. Just silence. She went back to work like I had said nothing at all. That silence is something you never forget. But my sister found out it was happening to me and told the school. They gave my grandmother a choice. Either he leaves or the children are removed. Only then was he sent away, and even after that, other family members still welcomed him into their homes. So the cycle didn't break, it just changed locations. Growing up for me meant two kinds of abandonment. The parents weren't there, the parents that weren't there, and the guardian that was there but didn't protect. One kind of abandonment hurts your heart, the other kind hurts your soul. Together they shape your entire childhood, and yet I still love them. My mother came in and out of my life throughout the years, and every time she came back, I got attached again. Every time she left, I broke again. My father, I had to hunt him down across the country. I'd find him in prison, and he'd sing to me over the phone. Those moments were sweet, but the moment he wasn't locked up, he'd disappear again. He made me one promise, that he'd return when the statute he was facing was expired, and he kept that promise right to the day. And we had a couple of years together before he passed away. Not enough, but still something. And then there was the hardest question I ever asked my grandmother. I asked her, if I let a man into my house knowing he was dangerous and he hurt my children, would that be my fault? And she said yes. So I asked her, then how are you not responsible for what happened to me and my sister? And she said, because I'm not. And she hung up the phone. And that's when I learned some people will never take accountability. Some people will never apologize. Some people will never heal, and we cannot wait for them to. this is part one of my story. This is the beginning, the world I was born into, the patterns I had to break, and the wounds I had to heal. In the next part, I'll tell you what happened after, the years that shaped me, the awakening that cracked everything open, and how I learned to rise from all of it, because I did not get here by luck. I got here by surviving what should have broken me legends. I love you.